His book, titled The Goldmine of Your Mind, is inspiring and full of insights on what it takes to succeed in life. Its central theme is that our greatest weapon or resource is our mind. And how we develop and use it will determine how we fare. Ayo Benson Olariwaju, the book's author, joined us to review it. Please enjoy this. Ayo, thank you for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you, Kule, for having me.
Nice having you here. I enjoyed reading your book, The Goldmine of Your Mind. let me read something you've written here.
Okay.
My observation of the world is that people place unbelievable value on resources. It is the easy excuse not to do something we know we should do. Resources are our scapegoats. It is to blame if we don't achieve or we don't meet our targets or we do not pass the exam. You get the idea. The list is endless. My observation is that there is more treasure in the depth of human mind than we can ever find under the ground. That's very relevant. In a country where a lot of emphasis is placed on natural resources, you are saying here that the human mind is more important.
Let me give you an example. Apple, as a company, they are now worth $700 billion.
$700 billion.
$700 billion. And that company was on the verge of collapsing when they invited Steve Jobs back. If you remember. Now imagine a company on the brink of collapse and somebody came around, who understood the powers of his mind and turned it around. We're trying to borrow 30 billion and we're killing and crushing ourselves.
Which is one of the things you said here.
Yeah, in the book, because I've heard that a lot, I devoted a chapter to how to raise money for either your business or any other idea.
Very interesting chapter. Yeah? I've read a lot about many athletes, superstar athletes, who use that particular method in performance. Muhammad Ali was an example.
Absolutely.
Who kept telling the world that he was the world champion before he took the title.
And when he took the title, he said, I've seen it over and over and over again. I just came here to pick it up in real life.
Wow. This is very powerful. It looks like pop psychology.
Yeah.
But I think it's very powerful. I read about Disney, Walt Disney, after he had died. They didn't build Disney until after he had died, according to what I read. And that his wife was somewhere looking, at Disneyland, and somebody said, he wished Walt was there to see it. And then she told the person that he actually saw it before he died. Had envisioned it. And I found that to be very powerful. And that seems to be something you say here consistently.
The reason why it is powerful is only, let me tell you, because of our upbringing, most people are raised in not very affluent homes. So the way we learn our beliefs is the way we learn to walk, is the way we learn to talk. If you don't take yourself away from your circumstances and actually place yourself where you want to be in your imagination, it is pretty difficult to do it because your mind will trip you up all the time. Because if you imagine yourself owning a 25-story building, what your mind will scream to you is, no, you can't do it. So if you make an attempt to do it, if you sabotage that, if you add self-sabotage, that's what it is. Because you need to believe that you are capable of achieving those dreams and visualize it in your mind before you can actually take the action. The actions is much easier if you already do it.
Fantastic, Ayo. So many things to talk about. The opportunity to grow, the gift of crisis, goal setting, confidence, determination. Oh, we don't have time to look at everything. Thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well done. Let me start digging into the gold mine
of your mind. And your mind is a gold mine. Use it.
Thank you. Nice to have you on the show.
All right, thank you.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed today's show. As usual, we'll be happy to hear from you through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I'm Olakule Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.
Great minds have purposes, others have wishes. This quote aptly describes the main focus of the book, The Goldmine of Your Mind, written by Ayo Benson Olarewaju, a chartered accountant with a great passion for literary works. The 27th chapter book explores how powerful the mind is, and especially the potency of the human mind at overcoming and thriving in the face of challenges and hurdles on the road to success. The author speaks on what inspired him to write the book.
I've been an entrepreneur for so many years, and I realized most small businesses, they fail in the first 5 years. And when I started out as an entrepreneur, I was looking for business books to read. I found out most business books are for big corporations. The few ones that are for small businesses, they're mostly written by professors who have never done a day of business in their lives. So I took it upon myself to write this book so that it will impact people. If you have to earn a living, no matter where you are in your life, if you have to earn a living on your own initiative, this is the book for you.
The book also addresses the question of money and belief system. It emphasizes the fact that success is a state of mind and one's attitude to money.
What's the difference between a very, very rich man and a very, very poor man? The difference actually is in the mindset. There is this saying that if you take all the money from all the rich men in the world and give it to all the poor men, in a little time, all the money will go back to rich people. It's because of mindset. It is because of the way their mind works. Some people do have this natural tendency to think positive and believe that they can achieve whatever they set their mind to.
Speaking on the current economic recession in the country, the author wrote on making the best out of the seeming unfavorable economic condition. He also cited poor reading culture among Nigerians as one of the hindrances to making a headway.
It doesn't matter whether it's the good time or the bad time. Actually, most big businesses you see around were started it's either during recession or during depression. So it's very important that if people know that they are capable of doing what they set out to do, the times is unimportant. It is important for you to have belief in what you want to do and pursue that belief.
The book, The Goldmine of Your Mind, has enjoyed great readership both online and on print. Readers have this to say about the book.
I've read the book, The Goldmine of Your Mind. The book talks about that everything depends on your mind. And whatever things you want to achieve, whatever dream that you have, when you have it in your mind, you can achieve it. And as a youth, you don't need to depend on white-collar job. You can be self-employed and you can be an entrepreneur. What I got from the book is leadership, your ability to carry everyone along and set the pace for your followers and to help them believe in whatsoever you stand to achieve.
It is what is in your mind that you can bring out to go through life, especially when we are in recession. The book talks about how to use what you have inside of you despite what you're seeing around, whether it's good, the going is good, or resources that we shouldn't blame when we don't meet up with life. We shouldn't say because the resources is not enough, but that thing that is in your mind, you can use it to make other things, and it makes you to become very, very fruitful.
The book is certainly an eye-opener for young and old alike who strive to make proper use of the mind to achieve success.
Once more, we have invited into the studio another distinguished Nigerian. This time, is an author, besides the fact that he's an accountant, And we are still going to look at that. So how accountants can become an author. Accountants, we know they are very, very thrifty. They don't want to spend. They always count the pennies and the cobbles. But he is an author. Besides that, he's also an ardent football lover. But the principal thing we'll be looking around or about today is the fact that he loves to turn bad businesses around. So if the economy is going downhill, the man thinks that we all should look at it and see how we can turn the economy around and then stop complaining all the time about recession or bad economic policies. So we'll be looking at all that, and how all of us are playing our part in where Nigeria is today. Our guest, of course, like I said, the Chartered Accountant is actually rose to become fellow of the Association of Certified Chartered Accountants, ACAA, and also ICANN. And he also, knocked up an MBA from Oxford University, far away in the UK. So my pleasure to welcome on your behalf onto our program, Close Flow today, Ayo Benson Olarewaju. You're welcome to Close Flow.
Thank you very much, Fola, for having me. Let me tell you, Fola, we were brought up to go to school, get a job, do well,
And apply yourself.
Have children, send them to school, they get a job. So
you build the cycle.
I don't think that is a good education. Why? There is an adage in Yoruba that that if you work, you probably stay out of poverty.
But
if you trade, you're likely going to create something bigger. That's why my passion is growing entrepreneurs. That's my passion, because if you grow look at Dangote. I'm not sure how much education the guys got.
Yes, but
look at him today. If we have 1,000 Dangotes in Nigeria,
yes,
what will happen? We're going to be transformed.
And that's where we should be going.
So let me come back to entrepreneurship. Teaching people, all my education, I never got a single training on entrepreneurship. Nothing. Nobody told me I could turn, 100,000 naira
into 1 million.
1 million into 100 million. Nobody ever taught me that. I was taught, go to school, study, and, I loved history. I was going to study history. My family said, no, you want to be a teacher? I love teaching. I said, no, go and study something else, and I diverted into accountancy. So, but it wasn't a bad thing, because that's what gave me the passion for entrepreneurship and all of that. My passion was, when I started my business, I was taking young people, I'll guide them, train them, say, buy this, go online, sell it. There was a lady, I made the example of her, in my seminars and all of that. She started with 100,000 naira. Okay? She came and said, I've been looking for a job for 2 years. That was like 6 years ago. That, she couldn't find a job. I said, okay. She met my business development director. So they talked together. She said, okay, start buying bags. And she loves bags. So she bought bags. Let me cut a long story short. In 6 months, she turned that money around, and a single order was like 5,000 pounds. Then 6 years ago, she now has.
No, so you're saying just to have the rights.
It's not even people. Sometimes people know what to do. People know what to do, but getting themselves to do it is the challenge. Let me complete the story of that lady. Now she has a boutique in Abuja. She's a big girl.
From just 100,000 naira.
Yeah. And she didn't. As she was getting the money, she was turning over. She was living with her parents. She could have that 100,000 naira and use it to buy a bag or buy
shoes,
Gucci,
or buy Revon,
or buy Revon, Brazilian, and all that. So I encourage young people like that, and it got to a point I couldn't support them one-on-one anymore. So I started doing newsletters for them, Then at some point I went on radio and started teaching entrepreneurship. And I said, okay, I can even reach more people. That's why I wrote the book, Goldmine of Your Mind, Your Fast Track to Abundance.
Say that again. Goldmine of your mind.
Mind of your mind.
Your fast
track to abundance.
So the abundance you are looking for outside there on the street is actually your mind.
It's in your mind. Let me tell you why. Right? Beliefs. Our beliefs is what trapped us in our problems. Our beliefs. Now, how do we learn our beliefs? How do we learn our beliefs? It's from our environment.
Within family, yes.
Our environment. So if you are in an environment where, money is hard, things are difficult, that's what you know. That's what you carry with you.
You are trapped with that.
Yeah. The way you walk, the way you learn to walk, is the way you learn to talk. It's just by looking at people and do what they do, right? So it's our beliefs. So that is fundamental to success in life. Why is it fundamental? If you don't believe you can do something, you won't try it. You see, in India,
if you don't have the belief that you can do something, you will not even attempt.
Even attempt it. I'll give you an example. In India,
yes,
they take young elephants, they put a small rope on them, they tie them to a stump, a small stump. So this small elephant try to, get out, wouldn't be able to. Do you know when the elephant is so big, right, that can uproot everywhere there, they still tie the elephant to that stump, and it won't try. The elephant won't try to move.
Because that mind is already trapped.
That elephant believes, I can't get out of here.
Yes. Yeah.
What's the best time to plant a tree? Maybe 20 years ago, right? What's the next best time to plant a tree? Now. Why can't we start?
So we shouldn't be saying we are waiting for the right time. We should just...
Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it. So when I looked at it, when I've helped so many entrepreneurs, I realized that's what's tripping people up. Is that mindset. Is that mindset. If you've never, let me give you an example. If you've never seen 100 million naira in your life, if somebody gives it to you, and you have the wrong mindset, right? You're gonna finish that.
Will disappear.
You finish that money. You finish that money in 2 weeks. There is a saying that if you gather all the rich men in the world, take all their money from them, give it to poor people, come back in 1 year's time, the money will be back in the hands of the rich people,
and the poor people will be back where they were.
It's a question of mindset.
Week here on NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
Thank you for joining us, and I must admit that many of our viewers are very attentive. They are very attentive. They have stayed glued to the TV set, listening to Ayo, and so many questions have already come in, so many comments. I want to thank all of you for writing in so quickly. But I don't know how I'm going to. You have to pay me, because some of the ideas is going to give to you now. Some of you become millionaires. So what happens to me? So you have to pay me some money from these questions. Okay, I will say I'm going to tax you on that. Now, but quickly, before we went on that break, you were saying it's possible. And I'm saying that's become Herculean here. To express yourself with your passion. Now, Joseph from Ikorodu, beyond teaching and mentoring, what else do you do?
Okay. Okay, I do so many things. Mentoring people is a passion of mine. And that's why I came to the conclusion. I said, how can I reach
many
more people? That's why I wrote the book. I am very, very busy. So it's almost a miracle I sat down to write 300 pages. But it's because I am passionate about helping young people thrive. When I left school, if I had a book like this, I'll probably be, 100 times bigger than I am now. But the important thing is to get out of yourself, you know. Stop thinking about your small little self. You know, if you expand your horizon and you expand what you're capable of doing to change the world, you know, your goals will be bigger. And when your goals are bigger, the resources that are likely to come to you will even be much bigger, you know.
Okay, so Joseph, you heard that. Then Grace from Oshodi. What does it take for one to join in your entrepreneurship training?
Okay, I actually have
the website. They
can go to ayobenson.com. On that website, I have a contest, a challenge going on.
Right now?
Yeah, I call it.
Wow.
I call that challenge, I am a gold mine.
I am
a gold mine.
Please say to our yes.
I am a gold mine challenge. If you go to ayobenson.com, scroll up, you see gold mine challenge, click on it, register.
Grace, have you heard that, Grace? Go to ayobenson.com right now. You will see a contest going on. I am a gold mine. You are a gold mine. That's what Ayo Benson is saying to you. So you register, and then you can be part of that entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's broken down into two. People that looking for employment, I made commitment to teach them for about a month, and they will get a job.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. I'm
Grace,
taking only
are you
5
hearing
people.
that? It's going to be free, so don't be scared, okay?
And then the other part is entrepreneurship. If you're interested in entrepreneurship, I will give 5 people, you know, so for those people, I'll give them 3 months business incubation. I'll give them a desk in my office, and I'll supervise them myself. I want to prove to people that the environment is tough, but I want to make those people example that, okay, this is actually possible. This is actually possible. So I'm very, very committed to that.
You're very excited about that.
I am indeed.
Okay, all right. One name from Ikeja. I'm a young entrepreneur. What can you help my business? How can you help my business to grow? You have just said it now. Please say it to him again.
Go to ayobenson.com, scroll up, click on Gold Mine Challenge, register, and you pick it up from there.
Okay, so one name, you hear that? That's how your business is going to grow. Laraba from K2, in your own perspective, how can a small business survive in respect of this same country? Everybody's looking at the environment. So maybe, okay, so Laraba?
Yeah, okay, let me give you an example. It's a story. A young man holds his key in his hand, and NEPA, in their usual way, took the light. He misplaced the key. Now, he looked outside his window, and he saw street light. He said, oh, okay, light bulb moment. He goes out to look for the key under the street light, because there is light outside.
Yes.
And as he was, he's looking around, the neighbor joins him and says, oh, what are you looking? I'm looking for key. There's, searched and searched. After a futile search, the neighbor said, what are you looking for your key? Where did you drop it? He said, in my room. Right? That may sound foolish. Right?
You drop the key in your room, and you're coming to look for it outside.
Yeah, that's what we do most of the time. The solution to our problems is inside us, right? But we're looking outside for it. Right? We're looking outside for solutions to our problem. And that's what we do in Nigeria as well.
On this shift, you pass the blame on either to the government or to your neighbor or to your parents or to, yes.
When you do that, you have zero control over that circumstance. You've given your power out to external forces and you have no control. But if you take responsibility, there's a difference between taking responsibility and taking the blame. If you take responsibility for your actions and you take responsibility for the goals that you've set for yourself, forget about circumstances. Bruce Lee said, to hell with circumstances, I create opportunities. Right?
Now, have you heard that? Just shove the environment aside. Try and find that gold mine inside of you. Now, John from VI, there's hardly a microfinance scheme that is willing to assist SMEs. So how can we start saving to run a business?
Look, I think I have this advice for governments, whether federal government or state government.
Or even local.
Or local government. In UK, there's something called Business Link. Now,
Let's say, so our viewers can...
Yeah, in UK, they call something business link. That is where you go to get advice about business. Right. Do we have something like that here?
No.
Because it's not about money. You know, people make the mistakes that, oh, if only I can get this millions and then I want. Look, if I hand you 10 million naira today, if you don't have the skills,
yes.
if you lack the skill set, you're gonna waste the money. Well, for sure, let me assure you about that. But if you have the right mentoring, the right
skills,
and the right attitude, skills is not, oh, I do marketing, I do production. That's not the skills. You should start from being effective. That's because we've been raised to go out there and work for people. We are of the opinion that, okay, I just need to, do whatever I can so that it appears that I'm working until 5 o'clock, then I go home. The danger with that is you will, at some point in your life, you will have the need to earn a living on your own initiatives. You're going to carry that attitude to your new venture.
Which is you.
Habit is not something you can switch on and switch off. Some people that, some because I'm also a coach, life coach, some people that have erred in life, they feel it's so difficult to change themselves. But you can just tell them a story or give them a phrase or a single word and somebody's life could be transformed. I'm not even exaggerating. Instantaneously. A story, a phrase, a word. If you remember, I have a dream. How many times have we played that over and over and over? It's like, a million times. It's just a phrase. And the transformational impact of that phrase is still resonating with people.
All over the world. All over the world.
I will continue.
Okay, so John, that's why I'm saying to you, don't get yourself locked into the fact that the environment or there's no SME or there's no money. It might not be money. It might just be a phrase that you need to turn that situation around for you. Ibrahim from Aja, what's your advice to someone who wants to start a business but has little money to rent a shop or into street trading is not allowed? How can such a person cope? This is Ibrahim. He wants to start a business. He's from Aja. He doesn't have the money to rent a shop. He cannot trade on the street. So
what business? That's the starting point. That's why when I give people advice, what business? The fundamental starting point is not, oh, I saw somebody doing this and is successful, I will be successful. No, number one criteria is find your passion first. If you find your passion and you go with it, there are so many things you can do online these days. Not Yahoo. I must emphasize that there are so many things you can do online that will earn you income. And if you are systematic, knowledge, let me tell you something, if people don't know, knowledge is now commoditized. It's now everywhere. The fact that it is everywhere means you even need to work extra hard, because what used to be exclusive preserve of a few people, knowledgeable people, it's now thrown open. You go on Google, you can find anything. When my staff says, I said, go do this, they say, sir, I don't know how to do it. I said, go. So if you want, even if you want to go into a business fresh, let's say you want to go blogging, don't just jump up and do it. Just go online and say, tutorial on blogging. Some of them are rubbish, but yes, if you're diligent enough, you'll be able to find what works for you. So people should, I think we should find a way to pass this message across to people. And, there are a lot of information in this book, Goldmine of Your Mind. People should get a copy of it. And not only get a copy of it, if you're absolutely poor and you can't afford it, please go to my website, send me an email that I am unable to afford this book. I will give you the ebook free of charge.
Please say that again, so our viewers can.
If you can afford,
if you are interested, and you cannot afford it,
you can't afford the book,
gold mine of your mind.
Go on my website, ayobenson.com, and send me an email. I will give you an ebook version free of charge, and it will change your life.
Yes, you're still watching Sunday What Live on Lagos Weekend Television. And I thank Almighty God once again because of my guest this morning. Because in Nigeria, we know what our economy is saying, and we know what is really wrong and happening presently with our economy in Nigeria. And we are praying for restoration, yes, revival of our great nation and also economy in Nigeria. And today I'm very happy to have Mr. Ayo Benson, who is an author and entrepreneur on Sunday Watch. Why? Because he is definitely passionate about making people, yes, making people in the sense that, making people grow, building confidence in people, and making sure that the youths are gainfully employed. That's why I'm happy, that this man is on my guest this morning. And he's right here to talk about business strategy for startups. He's been doing quite a lot for the youths in our society. Good morning, Mr. Ayo Benson.
There are about 3 billion people online today. When we started, I did a research, there were about 5 million people online at the time. Today, we have about 80 million people who can access the internet in Nigeria. That's enormous opportunity. So I want, young people to look at that. I'm not going to prescribe this is what you're going to do, but if you explore, there is a method, I call it count to 10. I actually got it from, a book called Tough Times Never Last. Tough People Do. Okay, you know that book. It said, if you have a challenge, make a list 1 to 10, right? Don't bother whether those lists are good or not. Just make a list.
Okay.
Say, that gives you a certain level of belief that there is possibility of solutions. So if you want to start a business, make a 1 to 10 list.
Okay.
Then look at what do you like to do, okay? Or what are you really good at doing?
If you good at doing now.
Yeah, if what you're good at doing and what you like doing, if you can marry both together, goodness me, that's your passion. Because the reason why you should go with your passion is business is tough. I won't come here and tell you that, oh, it's gonna be easy. If you go with your passion, when it gets tough, you're gonna stay in.
Okay.
You stay in when it gets tough.
Because you have passion for it.
Because you have passion for it, because you enjoy doing it, and because you are good at doing it.
In your book, The Goldmine of Your Mind, now, which I have here, earlier on, I told you that you disagree with the term, it's mainly money that makes money.
Yeah.
You disagree.
Yeah, I
Why?
disagree. I disagree because it's a very good excuse to do nothing. That's the starting point. Secondly, there are so many big companies. I talked about Henry Ford. Henry Ford, was from a very poor background. He didn't have a lot of money, and he started a car company. That's it. It was through like 5 years of intense study of how to do it.
A car company, without nothing.
Yeah, with nothing. Okay. So it was when he's developed it to a level that, it was driving it around that he now got people interested. Really, is this possible? People started investing in him. So for young people, I say, if you find your passion, you can actually raise money.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of idle money out there. There are a lot of people with money, really, really serious money, and they're looking for good idea to invest in. When I say good mind of your mind, it means, there is nothing you want to achieve that you cannot achieve. It's not about resources. It's about your resourcefulness to actually set a goal, have a vision, and pursue that goal vigorously and make sure that you get to the end of that vision. With support from others, you can't always do it alone. That's why I said about I am a Goldmine challenge that I've put up online. A lot of people have.
So for how long have you been doing this?
I've been an entrepreneur for about 20 years now. I live in UK, so I come home. I have a business here called Manor Stores. We help people buy goods from UK and US and deliver to them in Nigeria. So I've been, mentoring people. When we started, most of our customers are young people, that are trying to start up. So they rely on my support and guidance to actually do, and so many of them did well. So, and I thought, how can I make this? How can I do more of this for more people?
Okay.
I actually did a radio program with Radio Lagos.
Okay, Radio
I did a radio program called Goldmine of Your Mind as well. Teaching entrepreneurship, and it was for about 13 weeks. It ran for about 13 weeks.
Okay.
So I started teaching that to reach a lot more people. Then I realized, some people will get the first episode, they won't be able to get the second one.
Even third.
Yeah. So what I did is I packaged those programs together and I put it on my website, ayobenson.com. So people can go there and pick it up. It's actually free.
Okay.
And then I'm concerned about unemployment in Nigeria. On that same my website, ayobenson.com, people can go there. I have a free book I'm giving away. It's called 10 Tips to Get Your Dream Job. Okay. It's full of ideas about, you don't have to do anything, and it's free. That project I'm doing, I am a Goldmine. I want to take 5 people as an example and coach them for 4 weeks, and they will get a job.
And they will get a job. Your number once again, please.
081 62 83 3925.
Coach 5 people.
I'll coach
within
them
how many weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
And they will get a job. And I will coach 5 entrepreneurs. I will give them a space in my office.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Mountains, we gon' walk it out and mountains. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the age. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying.